Leo, my dear fire-hearted friend, if there's ever been a day when you needed to hear this, it's today. Because what's coming is not small. It's not symbolic. It's real, and it's big. The biggest money of your life is making its way to you. And this moment we're sharing right now might just be the final sign you've been waiting for. I want to say this clearly, right at the top. Today's reading isn't about some vague someday. It's about now. The astrology of October 31st isn't just stirring your energy, it's flipping the switch. Things are shifting. Financially, emotionally, spiritually. And if you felt a tension in your chest, like something was waiting to burst open, you weren't imagining it. You see, when the universe starts moving behind the scenes, we don't always get fireworks. Sometimes it's just this soft nudge. This moment of finding a video like this, not really knowing why, but something made you click. Something made you stay. And Leo, that something is not an accident. You've been carrying so much. For weeks, months, maybe years, you've been showing up, giving everything, trying to stay strong. You've been fighting to keep your fire burning while still looking out for others. But here's the truth most people won't tell you: you don't have to keep doing it the hard way. The season of constant pushing is ending. What's opening up for you now is an entirely different kind of abundance, one that flows. This isn't a fantasy. This is your reality beginning to echo the inner work you've done quietly. And it shows up first in energy, then in form. The cards that have appeared for you today aren't here to entertain. They're here to confirm. To affirm. To say, yes, this breakthrough you feel coming, it's already on its way. I know the words, the biggest money of your life, sound bold. They're supposed to. Because your energy is finally bold enough to hold it. You've outgrown the versions of yourself that needed to prove, to please, to chase. You're stepping into a season of receiving. And not just financially though, yes, that's part of it, but energetically, emotionally, even spiritually. You're about to be poured into. But here's the part you must remember: the universe can only fill the cup you're willing to hold out. So take a breath. Let your shoulders relax. You're safe here. You're not alone here. And no matter what's weighed on you before today, something in your story is about to break wide open. Before we dive into the cards, the Nine of Pentacles, the Empress, the Fool, the Devil reversed, and the Wheel of Fortune, I want to thank you. Not just for watching, but for showing up energetically. Every like, every comment, every new subscriber helps expand this circle of awareness. It tells the algorithm, yes, this matters. And more importantly, it anchors this message in your field. It helps this moment become more than just content, it becomes a ritual. A real shift. So, tell me in the comments, what brought you here today? What are you calling in? Even just writing, "I'm ready for my breakthrough," is enough to activate the energy around you. And please, stay with me until the end, because what the universe is revealing today is not just important. It's life-changing. Let's begin. You've been walking through life with the heart of a lion, fierce, proud, determined, but even the bravest heart needs rest. Even the strongest soul deserves to receive. And today, as we shift into the astrological alignment of October 31st, where the moon in Pisces forms a harmonious trine with the sun and Jupiter, there's something greater unfolding. Not in chaos. Not in resistance. But in flow. This is not the kind of astrological movement that demands more from you. It's the kind that reminds you it's finally time to let good things come to you without the struggle. You've likely spent months, maybe even years, carrying the weight of trying to make it. Trying to stay motivated. Trying to believe, even when the results didn't show up on time. I want to tell you something that might sound strange but is absolutely true. That season is ending. The energy is shifting from force to favor. From pushing doors open to watching them swing wide all on their own. You're not meant to keep knocking. You're meant to walk in. There's an invitation here to soften, not as a weakness, but as a sacred act of strength. Just like the lion knows when to rest under the shade before its next great move, you are being asked to honor the stillness as much as the action. This current cosmic moment, this trine between the emotional depth of Pisces and the expansive clarity of Jupiter, isn't just lighting the way forward. It's asking you to notice how far you've already come. And this is the deeper medicine of the moment. When you stop reaching for what's already reaching for you, you finally meet in the middle. That's when things click. That's when the job shows up, or the unexpected check arrives, or the right conversation unfolds out of nowhere. Not because you begged for it, but because your energy is finally open to receiving it. There's a reason the ocean only pours into the vessel that's been emptied. There's a reason the sun only warms the body that steps into the light. I want you to take a moment and reflect. What in your life have you been chasing that might actually be chasing you back? What would happen if you stopped gripping and started allowing? There's nothing soft or passive about that. In fact, it might be the bravest thing you've done yet. This is your turning point. Not because something outside of you suddenly changed, but because something inside of you finally clicked into place. You're no longer the version of yourself that needs to prove, hustle, or convince others of your worth. You've been tempered by experience, refined by delay, and no finalized position for favor. The energy of today isn't about becoming someone else. It's about coming home to who you already are beneath all the layers of defense, expectation, and exhaustion. This is what the stars are mirroring back to you now. That you are ready. Not in some distant future, not when you've healed enough or worked harder. Now. Today. The shift is subtle, but it's powerful. Like a seed sprouting beneath the soil just before breaking through the surface, your financial life is about to crack open, and when it does, it won't look like effort. It will look like ease. It will feel like light. So if you've been waiting for permission to let go of the heavy and allow the miraculous in, consider this it. You're allowed to receive. You're allowed to thrive. You're allowed to stop knocking and walk through the door the universe is holding open just for you. And if this message speaks to something deep inside you, something you can't yet name but absolutely feel right, in the comments below, I'm walking through the door. Let this be your energetic yes to everything that's already on its way to meet you. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a high cliff, not out of fear, but with a quiet fire burning in your chest. The wind is whispering something ancient, something that feels like both a promise and a push. You've been walking the path, carrying what needed to be carried, doing what had to be done. But now you're here, right on the threshold of a new chapter, and the only question left is, will you leap? That's the energy of the Fool. Not reckless. Not naive. But deeply alive. It shows up when something in your spirit is ready to break free from what's predictable. Not because the past was wrong, but because the future is calling you by name. A new offer. A different idea. A chance you didn't think you deserved before. But now, it's no longer just a dream, it's a doorway. And just behind that door, we see the 9 of Pentacles. This isn't beginner energy. This is seasoned confidence. It's what happens after you've planted, tended, and trusted. It's financial independence that comes not from chasing, but from alignment. It says, you've earned this peace. You've built this ground beneath your feet. You may not feel wealthy yet, but the energy of wealth is already within you. This card reminds you that abundance begins when we stop defining ourselves by struggle and start allowing ourselves to arrive. Then there's the Empress. And I want to pause here, because she often gets misunderstood. Her power isn't loud. It's not about forcing results. It's about receiving them through care, through beauty, through the simple act of honoring your own value. Think about it. When was the last time you truly nurtured yourself, not as a reward after the work, but as part of the work itself? The Empress reminds us that wealth, true, lasting, soul-aligned wealth, grows in the same soil as self-respect. When you speak gently to yourself. When you rest before you're depleted. When you honor your creativity even when no one else sees it. That's when the money begins to flow in unexpected ways, because you're no longer hustling for approval, holding space for expansion. Now, the Devil reversed. This card comes in like a soft warning and a loving release. It asks you to look at the contracts you didn't even realize you signed. The unspoken vows like, I have to work harder than everyone else to deserve anything, or I'm not the kind of person who gets rich. These beliefs might have protected you once, helped you survive, but now, they're old skin. And this card says, it's time to shed it. Reversed, the Devil doesn't threaten you. It liberates you. It asks, are you ready to be free from the invisible chains? And if your body quietly answers yes, you're already halfway there. Finally, we come to the Wheel of Fortune. This is the heartbeat of this moment. Not because it promises you luck, but because it reflects the natural cycles of life, how everything turns when the timing is right. If you've been feeling like nothing has moved for too long, like you've been stuck in a holding pattern, this card is the sign that the gears have begun to shift. And here's the paradox: the wheel moves fastest when you stop trying to control its spin. The more you let go, the more things fall into place. Together, these cards aren't just predictions, theory, reflections. They're mirrors of what's already moving inside you. They're the pulse of your soul showing up in symbolic form. And the best part? You get to choose how to respond. You don't have to take it all in at once. Just start with one step. One yes. One moment of softness. If one of these cards feels like it speaks directly to where you are today, I'd love for you to tell me in the comments. Which one are you standing in? Which one are you ready to claim? Let this be your way of planting the energy into your field, not as a hope, but as a declaration. You've probably been told that money only comes with hard work, with sacrifice, with long hours and constant pressure. And maybe for a while, that's how it had to be. You did what you had to do, you pushed, you endured, you held on when things felt tight, even when no one was looking. But if you're still operating from that old story, then this might feel strange to hear. the biggest money of your life is coming, and it's not going to arrive through struggle. It's going to come through alignment. I say this not as a fantasy, not as a motivational catchphrase, but as someone who has studied cycles, energy, and financial patterns through both astrology and lived experience. Right now, something is opening in your field, an energetic shift that's aligning your internal frequency with opportunities that previously seemed out of reach. This isn't just a new job posting or a chance conversation. It's deeper than that. It's your readiness meeting divine timing. The kind of alignment that turns just another week into the week your financial reality changes for good. So let's talk about what this looks like in real life. It might show up as an unexpected check in the mail, a refund you forgot about, a bonus you didn't expect. It could be someone offering to collaborate with you on a business idea, or finally deciding to invest in something you've been quietly working on. It might even be that moment when a dream you've tucked away, like launching your own thing or buying a home, starts to feel possible. Not because everything is perfect, but because something in you has softened just enough to allow it. That softening is key. Because when you're still in control mode, micromanaging every detail, constantly hustling, you're actually blocking the very flow of energy you're trying to receive. Money, like any form of abundance, doesn't respond to fear. It responds to safety, spaciousness, and trust. That's why this phase in your life is not about working harder. It's about working differently. It's about allowing yourself to receive without guilt, without proving, without exhaustion. One of the tools I love in moments like this is journaling. But not the kind where you vent or analyze. I'm talking about energetic journaling, writing things like, "I am ready for financial miracles," or "I open myself to receive unexpected abundance with grace." Simple sentences that gently reprogram the part of your mind still wired to expect lack. Do it first thing in the morning or just before bed. Not to make something happen, but to align with the possibility that it already is. The law of attraction isn't about pretending. It's not about faking gratitude or ignoring real challenges. It's about making space. When you affirm what you're available for, feel the emotion of already having it, and then take small, aligned steps from that energy, you become magnetic. Not because you're lucky, but because you're finally a match for what's already been circling you for some time. I know, for some of you, this might sound almost too easy. But ask yourself this: hasn't life been hard enough already? Haven't you proven your strength, your grit, your resilience? Maybe now it's not about effort, it's about openness. Maybe the breakthrough isn't in doing more, but in trusting more. If you've ever received a financial surprise, something out of the blue that shifted your reality, I'd love to hear it. Or if you're ready to welcome one, simply drop this in the comments: "I'm ready to receive the biggest money of my life." There's power in that declaration. There's power in saying yes. Let that be your sign out to yourself, to the universe, that you're no longer chasing. You're ready to receive. And everything you've been asking for might just be closer than you think. There's a quiet shift that happens when you stop chasing love and start aligning with it. Not in the fairy tale sense, not the loud, dramatic, prove-it kind of love, but the grounded, soul-resonant connection that actually nourishes you. And right now, whether you're partnered or single, your relationships are being touched by that kind of shift. It's gentle, but it runs deep. The current cosmic alignment, particularly Venus moving through Libra, is opening a window of reconciliation, magnetism, and emotional clarity. But to receive that kind of love, you first have to return to your own center. Let's start with those of you who are in a relationship. You may have been navigating tension, miscommunication, or a kind of emotional drift. It doesn't mean love is goodnight, just means the connection got dusty. You got busy. You got tired. Or maybe you forgot that even long-term love needs a little fresh air. Venus in Libra is like that deep exhale after holding your breath. It invites harmony, but it also asks for honesty. This is a moment to reach for your partner, not out of obligation, but out of a desire to rediscover each other. Sometimes, healing isn't a grand apology. Sometimes it's as simple as sitting down and saying, "I miss the way we used to laugh." Now, for those of you walking solitaires, a different kind of invitation. This is about preparing your energy for the kind of connection you actually want, not the one you used to settle for. There's someone out there whose frequency matches yours more than you know, but that meeting doesn't happen through control or trying. It happens when you begin living as if you already belong to yourself. When you start treating your life like it's sacred. When you make your space smell good just for you. When you wear your favorite outfit not because anyone's watching, but because it lights something up inside you. I often tell people, attraction is energetic before it's ever romantic. People feel how you feel about yourself. And that's not pressurized power. Ask yourself, would I want to date someone who treats me the way I treat myself? That one question can open a doorway. Because real love, the kind you don't have to explain away to your friends, the kind that doesn't trigger your nervous system, is a mirror of how safely and fully you're willing to love yourself first. When we speak about frequency in astrology and energy work, we're not being abstract. We're talking about emotional posture. Are you leaning forward, trying to pull someone in? Or are you standing tall in your own field, allowing the right ones to find you? Venus in Libra reminds us that love is about balance. Giving and receiving. Expressing and listening. Moving and stillness. This is the week to practice loving from the inside out. That might look like writing a note to your future partner, even if you haven't met them yet. It might look like leaving your phone down during dinner with someone you care about. It might look like forgiving yourself for past relationships you stayed in too long, or judging yourself for not knowing better back then. All of that is self-love. All of that is energetic readiness. If this message touches something real for you, I'd love to hear it. What part of your love life feels like it's waking up? Or if you're ready to open your heart again, even after all it's been through, just drop a comment below. I'm ready to receive love that matches my soul. Because it's not about waiting anymore. It's about aligning. And when you begin loving yourself in ways that feel whole, the love you attract will feel like it belongs because it does. Your body isn't just a vehicle, it's a vessel. A container. And no matter how much you ask the universe for abundance, for clarity, for success, if that vessel is full of stress, tension, and exhaustion, there's simply no room for more. That's why in this moment of expansion, we're being asked to do something that may feel counterintuitive but is actually essential: rest. Deep, nourishing, intentional rest. You see, the energetic body and the physical body are not separate. When your nervous system is constantly on high alert, whether from financial stress, emotional loops, or overthinking, you may not realize it, but you're closing energetic doors. You might be saying the affirmations, visualizing the money, putting in the effort. But if your internal world is stuck in survival mode, abundance doesn't feel safe to land. That's what the reverse devil card is showing us here, that subtle yet powerful tension we carry when we don't trust that we can pause. That it's okay to do nothing for a moment and still be worthy. That stillness is not laziness, it's permission. Then enters the Empress. Her medicine is different. She doesn't push. She doesn't rush. She allows. She receives. She tends to her inner world like it matters because it does. And that's the invitation for you now. To start seeing your health, your emotional and physical vitality as the foundation that everything else gets built upon. Your income. Your ideas. Your relationships. All of it flows better when your body feels like a safe place to be. So if your sleep has been shallow, if your breath has been tight, if you've been waking up already tired, this isn't something to brush off. It's an invitation to begin again. Gently. 7 minutes of meditation in the morning to ground your energy. A glass of warm water with lemon to clear out what's no longer needed. A few stretches before bed, not because you have to, but because your nervous system is craving space. And above all, a shift in self-talk. Instead of fueling your day with urgency, try something new, whispering to yourself, I am safe to receive. I am supported even when I rest. I don't have to earn my worth. These may seem small, but energy responds to what is consistently felt. And healing always begins with permission. You don't need a perfect morning routine or a retreat in the mountains. What you need is presence. Moments where you return to your breath, where you unplug from the constant doing and remember that your very existence is already enough. The law of attraction responds best not when we try harder but when we stop resisting what's already trying to reach us. And right now, the greatest gift you can give yourself is the chance to slow down long enough to let it in. It's not just about feeling better, it's about allowing better things into your life. Money flows where peace lives. Ideas land in minds that are not cluttered with noise. Healing arrives in bodies that are no longer running from themselves. So this week, instead of asking, what more do I need to do? Ask yourself, where can I release, restore, and return to center? If something in you feels ready to start showing up differently for your health emotionally, physically, energetically, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Say, I will care for my body the way I would care for a sacred garden. Because it is. And the more you tend to it with love, the more life will bloom from places you once thought were barren. You don't have to push your way into abundance. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is rest into it. Leo, if you've made it here with me to this final moment, then know this wasn't just a video. This was a divine checkpoint. A reminder. A gentle tap on the shoulder from the universe saying, hey, you haven't been forgotten. In fact, you've been chosen. Everything we've explored today, from the messages in your cards to the cosmic shifts surrounding you, is leading to one truth. You are not waiting for abundance to arrive. You are becoming the version of yourself who is ready to hold it. The biggest money of your life isn't just showing up out of nowhere, it's responding to the frequency you're now bold enough to embody. And that's the most empowering part of all this. You are the golden vessel. You are the open channel. You are the one deciding what flows in, and how much. The universe is not holding anything back. It's simply waiting for you to become a match for the magnitude of what's meant for you. Can you feel that? That quiet shift inside, where striving ends and receiving begins. You don't need to force anything from this point forward. The work isn't about chasing, it's about alignment. It's about reminding yourself every morning, I am safe to receive. I am worthy of overflow. Because abundance doesn't respond to panic. It responds to presence. The more you soften into trust, the more the doors begin to open, not because you begged, but because you believed. So here's my invitation to you now, not just as your guide, but as someone who knows what it feels like to hold on when everything inside you wants to let go. What if you chose to let go anyway? What if you stopped asking if it's possible, and started acting like it's inevitable? What would shift if you truly believe just for today that the universe is already preparing the table for your breakthrough? If this message stirred something inside you, don't let it fade. Anchor it. Write 88 in the comments below as a sacred signature, a declaration that your soul is ready for overflow. Wear something gold with a hint of green if you can today. Let your frequency be loud enough that even your environment responds. Speak the words, I'm ready to receive the biggest money of my life, not from desperation but from knowing. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel Eternal Mindfulness, where we return here day after day, not just for predictions, but for alignment, for healing, for remembrance. Every message I share is crafted to bring you closer to the version of yourself you already are but may have forgotten. Because you don't need to do anything to deserve abundance. You just need to believe you always have. This is your moment. The pivot point. The energetic line between your past and your expansion. Let today be the day you stop waiting and start claiming. Let it be the day you finally open the door and walk into the wealth that's always been meant for you. Now tell me, beloved Leo, what part of you already knows this is true?